自らが寄って立つ者を恥ずかしめることは絶対にありません。
なぜ君たちがそこまで敵を信用できるのかわからんが。
Faith in the enemy.
どちらにせよ時間が稼げること自体はこちらにとっても好都合だ。休戦に応じる。下記は現ポジションを維持。殿下には戦術機から降りてお休みいただこう。
は。
軍曹。
は。
念のため歩兵の襲撃に備える。207小隊は殿下の警護に当たれ。
訓練兵を殿下の直営に当てるのですか？
軍曹、少佐は今のうちに訓練兵を休ませておけとおっしゃっておられるのだ。少佐、我が部隊の兵士も戦術機から下ろし、周囲の警戒に当たらせます。
よかろう。この絵である君の任務を果たせ。
は。
少佐、お心遣い感謝いたします。
状況はもっと厳しくなる。頼んだぞ。
は。
It's been about 30 minutes since the rebel transmission. None of the units surrounding us have moved a muscle. Assuming the markers they're intentionally transmitting to us aren't fakes. They do match up with what we saw on radar as they came down in terms of numbers and positions. Are the rebels trying to prove that they aren't looking for a fight by showing that they've got nothing to hide? They've proclaimed a ceasefire in the Shogun's name, and so far they haven't gone back on their word. Under the circumstances, any Japanese person in this world would believe them without question. That's even a part of me that's tempted to believe it, as illogical as it is. The 2 years I spent in the previous timeline taught me just how important the Shogun is to this world's Japan. So I'm pretty sure I would have been able to understand what drove the rebels to do this, even if Meiya wasn't around to explain it to me. For the Japanese people of this world, Japan doesn't exist without the Shogun. That's why the rebel commander is ignoring modern combat procedure and coming to the front lines himself. People who rebelled for the sake of their country and their shogun wouldn't break a ceasefire proclaimed in Her Highness's name. That much I can believe. But the only way for Captain Sagiri... Hold on. But the only way for Captain Sagiri and his followers to prove their rebellion is for Shogun to personally condone their actions. And that's why they need to take the Shogun from us. So then, why would they honor the ceasefire? We've taken them at their word, which means we're pretty much sitting ducks. On top of that, we've disabled our active sensors, wireless transmissions, and satellite data links so they can't be traced to our position. In other words, we are basically blind. If their plan was to use Her Highness's name to trick us into letting our guard down, well, they've already succeeded. If they wanted to swoop right in and wipe us out, now would be the perfect time. It's not that hard to believe that the rebels would deceive us to achieve their designs. I feel like that's why Major Walkins got us cadets out patrolling. He can't completely discount that possibility. But so far it looks like they're just gonna keep on waiting it out, even after making a suicidally dangerous flight down here to catch up with us. Okay, what the hell? If they do uphold the ceasefire, then they'd only be doing it for honor or pride or something, right? There's no strategic benefit whatsoever. What's Captain Sagiri even trying to accomplish with this rebellion? Not that I don't understand the importance of honor and pride, but is that really what matters most right now? The captain's putting his life on the line to pull this off, even prioritizing it above the interests of mankind as a whole. Shouldn't he be taking things a bit more seriously? It's just the wind. Man, don't scare me like that. Damn it. I'm not like them. That's right, I'm different. My objective is to prevent the fall of mankind. If I were in his shoes, I'd be prioritizing the end goal above everything else. That's my responsibility as someone who's witnessed the end of days. If the Japanese citizens of this world can't see through to the bigger picture, then that just means I'll have to do it for them.
この人類滅亡の危機に極東防衛の要衝たる自覚もなく、無意味な内戦に突入し、貴重な戦力や時間を浪費している愚かな国家。その幼稚でくだらない国のために、私の部下が命を落とすことは絶対に我慢ならん。
Like Yuko sensei and Tsukuyomi-san said, it's clear that America has some ulterior motives here. But at the same time, the Major's got a point. And he's got every right to say it. He's a surface pilot on the front lines, not some high-ranking politician sitting safely in the rear. There's not a single person in the world who wants to get killed in a fight like this. I have no doubt about that. From the Major's point of view, this incident must be frustrating on so many levels. He's been dragged into the middle of a rebellion instigated by indignant activists in a country that's on the front lines of the war against the Beta. And now he's surrounded by those same people, and his life is in danger. His battalion saved our asses, and we've been telling him the mission takes a backseat to ensuring the Shogun's safety. And now we're taking the enemy at their word without a second thought. When you look at it like that, I don't blame him for thinking Japanese people are irrational or that we're a childish nation. I felt the same way about Japanese people in this world before. How I've even been pretty vocal about it. When the Major called this conflict childish, it honestly sounded like something I would say. It's probably because we're both outsiders here. The Major's an American, and I'm not from this world's Japan. But at the same time, it's not like I can condone America for acting on their own interests, while condemning Japan for doing the same. I just don't have the same sense of Japanese patriotism that everyone here seems to have, and I don't know the historical context behind it either. But none of that even matters right now. For me, this isn't about political gain, or who was wrong and who was right in some conflict that happened decades ago. All I want is to keep humanity from falling victim to the same fate twice.
目的が同じであっても、重んじるものが違えば道を違えることもある。理解できぬというのなら、足ざまに断じるでない。
That's why when Yuko-sensei brought up Mount Tengen, and I had to choose between the fate of humanity and that old woman's wishes, the choice may as well have been made for me. Not that I've forgotten the things that she and Meiya taught me back then, of course. If anything, I made the choice that I did in order to save not just that old woman, but everyone else as well. If I'm going to save as many lives as I can, then it's my responsibility to see Alternative 4 through to completion as soon as possible. So why then? Why am I feeling so conflicted all of a sudden, when I know the Major's objectively in the right? Why couldn't I do to the Shogun what I did to that old woman? Especially after how frustrated I've been about wasting all this precious time on human infighting. I knew that the fastest way to get this thing over with, was to bring the Shogun back to Yokohama base as soon as possible. And yet, I couldn't obey the Major's order. I couldn't bring myself to sedate her. I don't even feel the same sense of devotion to the Shogun that these people have. So why couldn't I do it? Because she's Meiya's twin? Because it would have put her in mortal danger? Could I have done it without question if I knew it wasn't life-threatening? Sure you could have. When I saw the Shogun suffering like that, I couldn't make the same decision that I indirectly made for that old woman. At the time, I didn't even realize that it went completely against my usual stance on things like this. I panicked. I hesitated. I was freaking out with no idea what to do. Meanwhile, Her Highness, a girl my own age, was begging me to give her the meds, even though she knew they could kill her. all for the sake of America, the UN, and even the rebel surface pilots. Damn it. God, I should have known what to do, but when it happened, my mind just went blank. I was too afraid to do it with my own 2 hands. Is it just because I have no combat experience? That can't be it. This world's been fighting against the beta for ages. I doubt that Tsukuyomi-san or Marimo-chan or even the Major have any experience fighting other people. How many veterans from those kinds of wars are even still alive? Ever since the aliens came, humanity hasn't fought each other for a long time, huh? So what is it? Is there something other than combat experience I'm missing here? Is there something even bigger that I lack? What the hell could it be?
私も国連職員である前に、一人の日本人として、日本主導のオルタネイティブ4を完遂させたいのですよ。
確かに事務次官の言葉に嘘はないと思いますわ。あの方なりに人類全体のことを思い、信念に基づいてその責務を果たしていらっしゃるのでしょう。
たとえそれが将軍家ゆかりのものだろうが、首相の娘であろうが、実の娘であったとしても、犠牲はいといませんよ。
Wow. For this man, his objective is more important than even his daughter.
その犠牲を最大限に生かす方法とタイミングは十分心得ているつもりだよ。
Conviction and patriotism. Is that really all it comes down to? How in the hell can that be? There's no way that's all it is. I've got plenty of conviction. Sure, I wasn't born and raised here, but still. I'm determined to save humanity at all costs. Is that not good enough? Okay, I'm from another world, but that shouldn't stop me from making tough calls when I need to. Damn it. Have all the tragedies I've experienced, have they only made me weaker as a result?
人類を救うっていうあんたの決意、自分で思っているほど固くないんじゃないの？
Yuko sensei saw right through me. Damn it. It's because I don't get it. I just can't wrap my head around it. How am I supposed to give someone the benefit of the doubt on the basis of the moral code I can't possibly comprehend? They're positive that Captain Sagiri won't ambush us because it will go against everything they hold sacred. And here I am shaking in my boots all because I lack that same conviction. It's like how a blind man could never imagine what the color red looks like. I can't understand that kind of conviction because I've never had it before. Damn it. Grah! Damn it, god damn it. I want to be stronger than this, god damn it. Grunt, grunt. There's too many things happening all at once, I just don't know what to do. I'm definitely nervous about my first battle too, but thanks to all that psychological training, I'm not terribly afraid of dying. Thank goodness for that at least. But if I had a real pillar of strength to fall back on, would I even feel conflicted about any of this? Maybe if I had more conviction, if I were more steadfast in my beliefs. It doesn't matter, I still have to see Alternative 4 through to completion, no matter the cost. There's not much time left, we can't afford to wait for me to man up. At least I've managed to figure out what's been bugging me all this time. That has to be a step in the right direction. I don't know whether I can learn to have stronger convictions, but for now, all I can do is try. Now's not the time to get lost in thought. If we can't get past the enemy's blockade, none of this will even matter. For now, I need to focus on getting everyone through this, safe and sound. Right. This isn't just about me. Everyone here has some kind of baggage that connects them to this situation, both as UN surface pilots and as Japanese citizens. Not to mention as family members of those involved. During the briefing we just had, I was so preoccupied with the enemy's encirclement and my own inner conflict that I even that I didn't even look around to see how the others were doing. They gotta be stressed about facing their first battle, all the more so since we were surrounded by the enemy just when it seemed like we'd made a clean getaway. Meia's feeling conflicted because of her feelings for Her Highness and her sympathy toward the rebel cause. Tama's torn between her Japanese roots and her father's position in the UN. Same goes for Mikoto. If she knows what her dad's really been up to, this can't be easy on her either. But now that Captain Sagiri has shown his face on the battlefield, I can only imagine what Class Rep and Ayamine are going through right now. For the Class Rep, Captain Sagiri is the man who murdered her father. For Ayamine's lover, maybe, yeah? No, not a lover, but fiancé. Ayamine's fiancé. And yet, everyone's still giving their all. Maybe I should go see if anyone needs someone to vent to. Though I'll probably be the one doing most of the venting. I wonder what Meia's thinking. Huh? Where'd Meia go? I don't see her anywhere. That's strange. I'm pretty sure this is the area she was assigned during the briefing. We've all disabled our ID markers so the enemy can't trace our location. If she's on the move, it's not going to be easy to find her. Aw man, I really hope she's not actually patrolling the area. They wanted us to get some rest, so we wouldn't slow the whole group down later. I figured she'd be beside herself with worry for Her Highness, but I guess she decided to focus on carrying out her orders. Classic Meia, really. She could never neglect. They had some very long conversations, so let me summarize this part. Class Rep and Ayamine, they both told Takeru to just leave them alone for now. Class Rep pretended not to be sad of her father's death, and Takeru was unable to find out whether Ayamine leaked their information to her ex-fiancé. Mikoto was happy to see Takeru, although she's worried about Her Highness, even more than she's worried about her father. And they are all worried about Her Highness even more than their own lives. Gives to show how the people are in this world. Alright, and the last person I haven't talked to is Tama. Where's Tama?
訓練兵を出撃させるなんて、極東国連軍の人手不足は相当深刻ね。
Whose voice is that?
あなたも災難だったわね。
Tama's talking to someone. That's Tama's voice. Who's she talking to?
私もね、まさか人間相手の作戦に駆り出されるなんて思ってもみなかったわ。日本には一度来てみたいと思ってたんだけど。
Oh, it's an American surface pilot. I see, so the Americans are taking breaks as well.
すみません、少尉。こんなことになっちゃって。
え？
今は人間同士で戦っている場合じゃないのに。
どういうこと？どうしてあなたが謝るの
？Guess she must feel partially responsible because she's Japanese, and since she suspects her dad was the one who got the US military involved, even though she doesn't know for sure. This incident is putting everyone in the 207th flight in an awkward position between the UN and Imperial forces. We are a ragtag behind the ragtag band of cadets, royal guards, and US soldiers, caught up in a conflict between the UN, Japan, and America. Being surrounded by so many conflicting viewpoints is tough, and I'm sure it's even more stressful for Tama given her father's part in all of this.
もしかして、あなたは日本人？
はい、そうです、少尉。
なるほど、そういうことか。
That's right. They don't know that they're Japanese because it's the UN.
じゃあナオのことつらいか。同胞に銃を向けるんだからね。そう。
I'm really impressed with how mature that US soldier is being about all this. Sure, the American government's got ulterior motives, but these pilots never asked to be dragged into this petty rebellion, and they've already lost comrades in the fighting. You'd think they would be about ready to take a swing at us by now, or at least mutter a few nasty words in our direction. And yet, this one's actually comforting Tama.
私ね、フィンランド人なの。
From Finland. She's not American, but she's enlisted in the US Army. How does that work? America hasn't suffered a lot of casualties, so women haven't been affected by the draft yet. Hell, I don't even think they've lowered the drafting age. Plus, she's a foreigner.
戦災難民なのよ。ほら、私の国もうなくなっちゃったから。
私なんて言ったらいいか。
別にいいのよ。気にしないで。
Now I remember, in this world all of Europe was completely wiped out about 7 or 8 years ago, with the exception of the British Isles.
でもどうしてフィンランド人のあなたがアメリカ軍にいるんですか？
そうね。理由は2つあって、まずアメリカの市民権を取得するためね。
市民権？
そう。戦災難民が市民権を得るには、軍に入って除隊まで務め上げるしか方法がないのよ。だから今回派遣されている部隊のほとんどの人間が私と同じ戦災難民からの志願兵。お偉いさん方を除いてね。
Whoa. Huh. Most of the American soldiers deployed for the rebellion are foreigners, huh? Huh? Wait a second, so out of all the American forces sent here, the only actual Americans are Major Walken and the other high-ups. Maybe I'm just being naive here, but I'm struggling to wrap my head around the thought of sending a whole unit of foreign refugees straight to the front lines. I know it's not my place to judge, but is US citizenship really worth risking your life for, even knowing they sent you out here to keep Americans off the lines?
あの地獄。ヨーロッパから生きて逃げ出せただけでも随分贅沢なことなんだけど、私が市民権を取れば家族を難民キャンプから出してあげられるからね。
So that's it. America may be mostly unharmed by all of this, but even they don't have the resources to give all the refugees the same quality of life as their actual citizens. Captain Sagiri talked about how awful the refugee camps in Japan were during his broadcast. I'd imagine American camps aren't much different. So that's what she needs citizenship for, huh? Makes sense.
ということはご家族は無事だったんですね。
母と妹はね。父は国軍に志願して北カレリア戦線で行方不明。多分もう死んじゃってると思うけど。
すみません。
もう今時珍しい話じゃないんだから、いちいち気にしないの。
ごめんなさい。
でね、入隊のもう一つの理由がそれ。
それ？
敵討ちってわけじゃないけど、父がそうしたように私もベータと戦って家族を守りたい。
お父さんと同じように。
それでいつかあいつらをヨーロッパから追い出して祖国を再建するの。父が命がけで守ろうとしたフィンランドを。でね、私たちの家があった場所に父のお墓を建てて、そのそばで家族一緒に暮らしたいの。
Wow, she's so positive. I don't know if I can be that positive in her position.
ところで、あなたの家族は？
はい。パパと2人です。ママは私が小さい頃病気で死んじゃいました。
Tama's Mickey's mother died, huh?
そう。お気の毒に。
いえ、私は最後までママのそばにいることができましたから、少尉に比べれば贅沢なことです。
また。 さっきから気にしないでって言ってるのに。もしかしてそれ日本人特有のリアクション？
Is that just the thing with Japanese people? It's kind of right. Japanese people, they begin the conversation by apologizing frequently. Wow, I didn't know that Tama's mom died from an illness, huh? No wonder her father's so doting. What's
私
doting?
イルマテスレフ。あなたは？
玉瀬美希。ミキ玉瀬です。
ミキか。こんなこと言ったら失礼だけど、フィンランドだと男の子に間違えられる名前ね。
Really?
男の子ですか？なんか複雑ですね。
ねえミキ、いつか人類がベータに勝って私の国が再建されたら、お父さんと一緒にフィンランドにいらっしゃい。私が招待するから。
本当ですか？私絶対行きます。
She looks so happy.
確かに遠いけど、ソビエトを挟んで一つ隣じゃない。日本に一番近いヨーロッパなのよ。
Oh, really?
そうだったんですか？日本のことまで知ってるなんて、イルマ少尉すごいです。
宿敵だったロシアを任したことのある唯一の国だから、多くのフィンランド人は日本に親近感と興味を持っているの。それにお互い第二次世界大戦の敗戦国だしね。
So the World War happened in this world too, huh?
だからこそミキには来てほしいのよ。いい？約束よ。
はい、わかりました。
だから早く終わらせようね。人間同士の戦いもベータとの戦いも。その時までお互い絶対死なない。いい？はい。よし。じゃあ行くね。そろそろ交代の時間だから。
はい。少尉、お話できて楽しかったです。
私もよ。約束忘れないでね。
Huh, that Lieutenant Irma is so strong. She joined the foreign military in the hopes of retaking her homeland and rescuing her family. That's what she's put her life on the line for. In a way, that's almost like her own personal pillar of strength, just like how the Japanese find strength in the Shogun. Man, it's like I can't get away from that concept.
あれ？タケルさん？
Ack.
どうしたの？
Oh, I was just wandering around to try and clear my head, and I heard your voice, so...
もしかしてずっと見てたの？
I think I came in partway through, but I didn't... It didn't feel right to interrupt either. Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop.
別に謝ることじゃないですよ。
She seemed like a really great person. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it seems like the American army has all sorts of people in it too, huh? After everything that's happened, I couldn't help feeling some animosity towards the American forces. But the individual pilots on the front lines aren't any different from you and me. If nothing else, she was at least talking to Tama as a sympathetic, considerate human being, not as a superior officer. What? Whoa, Tama, what's the matter? Hey.
自分の命も危ないのに、私のこと気遣って。
Yeah.
自分の国がなくなっちゃって、家族や死んじゃったお父さんのために戦ってるのに、フィンランドを取り戻すために戦う。なのに私のパパがあの人たちを巻き込んじゃったのかもしれないんだよ。
Tama.
パパはいつも言ってた。日本を守るためにはアメリカ軍の力が必要だって。
Her dad said that to her. But but that's true, isn't it? Just in terms of firepower, we're way better off with the Americans' help. Especially in circumstances like this, if the Beta chose to move south today, they could completely obliterate the Far East defense line. Even if you're right, doesn't that just go to show that he's really trying hard to help save Japan and the world as a whole? Besides, the Americans deployed their fleet out here as if they knew what was gonna happen. They probably planned on intervening no matter what. Back in the command center, the Undersecretary was trying to get the US military brought into Yokohama base as soon as possible. And ultimately he got his wish, but still, even Yuko-sensei acknowledged that he was only acting with Japan and Alternative 4's best interest in mind. Too bad I can't tell Tama about any of that.
タケルさん、
Huh?
もしかしたらこのクーデターもアメリカ軍を引き入れるためにパパが。
脚本を用意したのはおそらく国連上層部のオルタネイティブ5推進派と CIA でしょう。
I didn't put it together before, but she's right. That's absolutely possible. If Chief Yoroi is to be believed, then Tama's dad might be the one of the UN higher-ups he was referring to. Then Undersecretary Tamas's actions are effectively interfering with Alternative 4, aren't they? But that would also mean he's collaborating with the Alternative 5 supporters. Didn't he say he wanted to see Alternative 4 to completion? There's no way he'd just...
もしそうだったら私どうすればいいの？
Huh?
だって榊さんのお父さんがあんなことになっちゃったのも殿下がこんな目に遭ってるのもみんなの命が危険にさらされているのも極東の防衛線が崩壊しそうなのも全部パパが関わっていたら。
Stop it. That's enough. Even if any of that were true, he only would have done it if it meant increasing Japan's and humanity's chances at survival. I'm just blowing smokes here. If that's actually what he was going for, he's an idiot. Besides, that's all just speculation, right? I mean, I can't exactly say it's baseless, to be honest. But whatever, that's not what she needs to hear right now. This whole situation is really stressful, so you're probably just overthinking things and getting stressed out over nothing. I mean, it's our first mission and we've been chased all over the place by loads of enemies, and now they've got us surrounded. Anyone would be stressing out about this. But if you don't pull yourself together, you could literally die out here. And if you go down, if any one of us gets killed, the entire squad could be wiped out. Didn't you just make a promise to that pilot? You've got to survive until we've beaten the beta so you can go visit Finland, right? If you ever want that to happen, you need to focus on getting through this mission. We can worry about the rest after we made it back home safely, okay? Doesn't look like that did much to boost our confidence. But there's nothing else to be said. Not from me, anyhow. My convictions aren't strong enough for me to preach to Tama. I don't know how to feel about all this any more than she does. I should probably go. Sorry, I'm really tired myself, so that probably didn't come out right. That second lieutenant sure was something, and I don't think it was just a matter of her having more experience either. I'm pretty damn pathetic in comparison, aren't I? I'm gonna get going. Let's make it out of this alive, okay?
Takeru.
Oh. Those must be the three idiots. One of the three idiots. Ah. Second Lieutenant Camille must be someone else's turn to guard Her Highness.
探したぞ。休憩とはいえこの状況でうろつき回るとは国連軍の程度が知れるな。
Sorry. Man, it still feels really weird to be talking to her like she's my superior.
まあいい。ついてこい。
急げ。殿下がお呼びだ。
Huh? The Shogun has called Takeru.
殿下、白金健を連れてまいりました。
ご苦労でした。下がりなさい。
はっ。
Yes, my lady. Thank goodness, she looks much better now. Her complexion's starting to improve. I guess letting her lie down must have sped up her recovery.
白金、ここへ。
Okay. How should I position myself though?
どうしました？楽になさい。
Like, do I get down on one knee? Or what? Sorry, excuse me. I guess I'll just sit down.
このまま話す比例を許すがよい。身を起こすと少々つらいゆえ。
No, it's okay. I'm not really that good with etiquette myself, so it doesn't bother me.
本当にそなたは面白い男ですね。
Yeah, sorry about that.
謝るのはこちらの方です。私が不甲斐ないばかりに、そなたにはいらぬ苦労をかけましたね。
Not at all, Your Highness. Not at all, Your Highness. You've held up incredibly well. To be honest, I'm genuinely impressed by your mental and physical strength. Even with a fortified suit on, it wouldn't have made a difference without her existing feedback data. I'm amazed she endured it as long as she did.
そう言ってもらえるのは助かります。
It's only the truth, but in any case, Your Highness, what did you need me for?
神代から状況は聞きました。時間が来る前に、そなたと少し話がしたかったのです。
Of course, not sure if I'll be of much help though. It's not like I have much of a say in planning out the operation anyhow. If I wasn't talking to her right now, I'd probably just be sitting by myself mulling over things I'd rather not think about. Going to see the others didn't really help. If anything, it made me feel even more stressed out. It's nice to be able to talk to somebody who isn't quite so directly involved in the mission itself.
そなたはどうなのです？疲れていますか？
To be honest, it's starting to wear me down, yeah.
それも致し方ないことでしょう。訓練半ばの身で、このように困難な作戦に従事しているのですから。
Well, I mean...
戦果を帝都から遠ざけるためとはいえ、そなたたち訓練兵を矢面に立たせてしまったこと、残念でなりません。
Hey, we're just doing our duty as agents of the UN military. You don't need to worry about us.
それにしても、その黒い強化装備といい、卓越した操縦技術といい、つくよみの名を聞くまでそなたが訓練兵だとは思いもよりませんでした。
Oh yeah, sorry for not making that clear. They're always low on the white fortified suits for male cadets, so they just issued me a standard pilot one for the time being. After the beta invaded Japan, the IJF started conscripting women and lowering the draft age for men. But by the time the UN forces were stationed there, almost everyone getting conscripted was female. The soldiers back on the base all make fun of me for it, because it makes it look like I got demoted and forced to repeat basic training again.
そうですか。されど、戦術機起動における突出した発想と柔軟性、国連軍正規兵とて、そなたに被験するものは稀でしょう。
Really? I don't know, I feel like you're giving me too much credit.
鎧がそなたの期待を押したよし、特進しました。
Well, thank you very much.
礼を言わねばならぬのは私です。そなたに心よりの感謝を。
No need to thank me, I'm just doing my duty.
当然ですか。
Huh? Well, yeah.
本来ならばそなたの技能、人類の旧敵、ベータを打ち滅ぼすために用いられるべきもの。そなたのみならず、こたびの騒乱に用いられているすべての将兵、物資も。それが、このような形で失われていくのは、残念なことだとは思いませんか？
What's she trying to say? Could it be that Her Highness, that the Japanese head of state, is on the same wavelength as I am about all of this? To be honest, I really do think it makes sense for the UN to be stepping in and helping via this operation. After all, ensuring Japan's government stability is in the interest of Alternative 4. But it's still not what I would consider ideal. In all honesty, I can't stand the fact that we're wasting our time on this. Because personally, I only want to spend my time on whatever's most beneficial to mankind as a whole. And to be fair, I'm sure all the various countries and organizations wrapped up in this mess do think they're acting in humanity's best interest. Until we get rid of the beta, we don't really have a future. I'm sure everyone knows that regardless of which side they're on. That goes for the Japanese government, the UN, the US, the rebels, myself, my squad, and obviously, Her Highness. I'm pretty sure every single one of us is fully aware of what we're up against here. But if that's the case, why is this even happening? We all share a mutual objective, but I don't think it's just a case of differing values causing different mythologies, like Maya said. I mean, what if our clashing mythologies are what prevents us from achieving that objective?
私は先ほどから考えていたことがあります。
What's with the sudden change of topic? Is it because I never answered her question?
何故あの時、そなたがトリアゾラムの投与をためらったのか。
I never thought Her Highness would try to broach that topic. It's something I really didn't want to talk about, honestly. It goes right to the heart of this uncertainty I'm feeling right now. In fact, it's what made me realize I had doubts in the first place.
その時のアメリカ軍指揮官とつくよみのやりとりは朦朧となりながらも聞こえていました。アメリカ軍指揮官の言葉、あの者の立場では正しいとそなたは思いませんか？
No, I do. I do think the Major made the best possible call in terms of completing the mission efficiently. Even if it happened to prioritize American interests, it was also the most realistic way to bring a swift end to all this Japanese infighting. And since preventing humanity's defeat is my ultimate objective, it seemed like the ideal course of action from my perspective.
では、あの時のつくよみの言葉はどうでしょうか？
From my point of view, Tsukuyomi-san's argument seemed more emotionally charged and less coldly logical. It kind of felt like she was giving pride and honor so much weight that she wasn't able to keep an open mind. But even so, I can't disagree with any individual point she made, especially when you consider the duties she's devoted her life to. I think she was right.
双方正しかったのであれば、そなたは何故アメリカ軍の将校ではなくつくよみの言葉に従ったのですか？
Well, because Major Walken's orders just didn't sit well with me. I mean, I didn't exactly obey Tsukuyomi-san either. I just hesitated, and she happened to get her way. As a soldier, I'm supposed to consider my superior's orders to be absolute, so why didn't I? Was it because I just don't like how the US is handling things?
本州を奪還し、国連とのさらなる関係強化が国の基本政策となって以降、手段が目的を凌駕することが日常化し、政府や軍は本来あるべき姿を見失っているように見える。政府は民をないがしろにし、将軍家を傀儡に貶めた。己の都合や利益のみを考える輩が国を蝕んでいるのだ。そこから民を、将軍家を、そして国を救い出そうというのが彼ら決起部隊の考えだ。
Or it could be that I'm actually feeling sympathetic to Captain Sagiri's cause.
まずはベータを倒して戦争を終わらせるべきだろう。人間同士のいざこざなんて、その後で好きなだけやればいい。
理解できぬのなら、足ざまに断じるでない。
This is hopeless. I'm just thinking in circles here, damn it. If this were something I could figure out on my own, I would have found my answer a long time ago. For now, I've decided to just focus on getting through this. I just have to keep moving forward. So please, don't force me to keep thinking about this.
無理に答えずともよい。
Huh?
白金。そなたはその優れた資質ゆえに、いつか人の上に立つこともあるでしょう。
Me, a leader?
人の上に立つということは、多くの責任を背負い、多くの決断を下さねばならぬということです。国家や組織は、そのよって立つところが違えば、おのおのに理想や信念が異なるもの。それは人も同じです。何かなそうとすれば、必ずそれを良しとする者と悪しとする者がいるでしょう。されど、それぞれの立場に立って、物を見ることができれば、おのおのがよりどころとする正しさも見えてきましょう。
After all that I've been through, I can say with confidence that I know how hard that is. Especially this time around when all of these different viewpoints keep popping up left and right.
そして、悲しいことですが、それらすべての者たちの望みを満たす道が常にそなたの前にあるとは限りません。その時そなたは何によって決断し、どのような道をかの者たちに指し示すのか。
You listen to your convictions. You lean on your core beliefs. I can tell that's what she's getting at.
その時、もしそなたに迷いがあったなら、原点を顧みること、立ち止まる勇気を持つのです。
I knew it. Look, it's not like I don't have a reason to fight. I swore I'd save all mankind, didn't I? Nothing could possibly be more important than that. And yet here I am, spinning my wheels like an idiot.
そして、自らの手を汚すことを厭うてはならないのです。
Shogun Yuhi is basically telling Takeru that he should have given the dangerous drug to her, even if it could have killed her herself. Bloody my own hands.
道を指し示そうとする者は、背負うべき責務の重さから目を背けてはならないのです。私はあの時、流れに身を委ねたわけでも、己が死をもって責任を果たそうとしたわけでもありません。私が信ずる正しさに従い、トリアゾラムの投与が最良と判断したのです。
In a sense, I've betrayed that old woman at Mount Tengen, but at the time, I believed the decision I made was in the interest of the greater good. I justified it to myself, saying I didn't want to waste what little time we had left before Alternative 5's implementation. But if I really believed that, if I really thought saving every possible second matters above all else, then I should have given Her Highness the Trioslam. And yet, I couldn't do it. Could it be that I just didn't want to have to do the dirty work myself? Is that what she's trying to say? Was I just afraid of having her blood on my hands? Is that really all there is to it?
私の話はそれだけです。休息中に大義でした。下がるがよい。
She smiles with very harsh words for Takeru. I was too afraid to do the dirty work myself, huh? Yeah, that probably had something to do with it. No, it totally did. It wasn't just that she was Maya's sister. It was that she was a living, breathing human being. I couldn't make a decision that might end up putting her blood on my hands.
どうしました？もう下がってよいのですよ。
And even though there was a chance that old lady at Mount Tengen would die in the relocation, I knew I wouldn't have to be the guy forcing her out of her home at gunpoint. This whole time I've been blaming this on my lack of conviction, but that's nothing more than a cop-out.
白金。
It's not a matter of experience or know-how. Even if you have a ton of both, if you can't bear the thought of having to do something yourself, you don't deserve the responsibility, so basically I can't make any real decisions.
何か
申したいことがあるのではないですか？
No, there isn't. I shouldn't waste Her Highness's time with this. I'd better head back to my post.
偽るでない。そなた、私を侮っていますね。
Huh? Wait, what? I really wasn't trying to insult anyone.
そのような険しい顔をして、何もないと申すのですか？
I may not be in charge of anybody, but I have been put in a position where I can greatly influence the future of all humanity. And since Her Highness has an entire country resting on her shoulders, I might just benefit from talking this out with her. But can I really impose on her like that?
今さら何を遠慮しているのです。そなたのような態度で私に接した者は、これまで一人としていませんでした。
I had a feeling that was what she meant. Sorry.
よい。私はそなたのその気安さが逆に心地よいのです。
Yeah, Maya told me something like that too, come to think of it.
メイヤも、あの者もそなたのそういったところに気を許すのでしょう。
A lot of the stuff that's considered common knowledge in this world is totally foreign to me. That was definitely one of my biggest weak points when I first came here. But see, because I didn't know Maya was related to the Shogun, I didn't have any trouble getting close to her.
こたびそなたの世話になった分、あの者が世話になっている分、ささやかですが、返させてもらえませんか？
The idea of imposing on the Shogun herself like this really feels awkward. Guess this world's starting to rub off on me a little, huh? But I might never have another chance to talk about this with someone who bears such a huge responsibility on her shoulders. I feel like if I don't take this opportunity to talk to her now, I might regret it later. For some reason, I think the two of us can have a frank conversation about this without the risk of misunderstanding or upsetting each other.
私では力不足でありましょうか。
Well, okay, if you insist. So, I know this might sound weird coming from a UN military cadet, but I'm feeling conflicted by what I think is the lack of patriotism for my own country. I do think I understand why Captain Sagiri would go so far as to cause an uprising in order to bring change to Japan. But I just can't see why he'd choose to do it now of all times. To be honest, well, I just feel like there's something much bigger at stake here than all of that.
そなたの言う大切なものとは？
Exactly what you said a moment ago, Your Highness. We should be focusing all our strength on defeating the beta. But that's not all I'm trying to say. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like it's the sort of thing you can make sweeping generalizations about either. This is so frustrating. If only I could tell her everything that's happened. There's nothing wrong with being concerned about Japan's future, but can it at least wait until we've defeated the beta? Because if humanity loses, there's not gonna be a future for Japan. Even a 5-year-old could understand that.
そうですね。
And yet we've still got America and the UN trying to advance their own agendas. At the very least, they're clearly not making much of an effort to genuinely unify humanity against the beta. You'd think they'd understand what we're up against here. And yet, none of them are even acknowledging that we're staring total extinction in the face. They can't even imagine what losing to the beta will mean for us as a species. I mean, it's all just hypothetical to them, you know? And that's just not good enough. They have to understand that we could be defeated at literally any moment, unless we take action now. Damn it, why is it so hard to get this across?
白金、少し落ち着くがよい。
Oh right, sorry. Didn't mean for that to turn into a rant. Guess I've been bottling this up for so long, I kinda went off on a tangent. And yet, she just listened the whole time, even though I'm sure she's still feeling pretty sick. But you know, I think I'm actually feeling a little better now. Never underestimate the value of having someone to vent to. This might be the first time I've felt this sense of release since the timeline reset.
一つ聞きますが、
Sure thing.
そなたは何故愛国心が足りないと思うのでしょう。
Maybe you already know this, but everyone in my squad has some sort of unique baggage. I'm pretty sure Tsukuyomi-san would have told Her Highness who Meia's squad mates were, but oh well. They're all girls except for me, but every one of them has some sort of connection to this country's national affairs, if not directly. We're all enlisted in the UN military, but every time I talk to them, I can tell how strongly they feel about their Japanese roots. Like when Meia saw the news about the rescue effort at Mount Tengen, she was furious about the way they ignored the will of the people living there. We kind of got into an argument about it. How when this uprising first broke out, I said this wasn't the time for petty infighting, and someone actually told me I sounded like an American sympathizer. That someone being Tsukuyomi-san. I guess they felt like I didn't care enough, like I wasn't worried about my own country. If Tsukuyomi-san thought I was talking like a US sympathizer, or that I simply didn't care about Japan's affairs, it's possible that I sound that way to any Japanese person in this world, even my own squad mates. So I started thinking about what might give people that impression of me, and wondering if I just see the world differently from them on a fundamental level.
その違いが愛国心なのだとそなたは思うのですね。
Well, you could call it conviction or a set of core beliefs, but I can't tell her about everything I've experienced, so that's probably close enough. Yes, I think the deep familial ties they have to Japan as a nation might be a big part of why they're so strong.
国との深い因縁。先ほども言っていましたね。どういうことでしょう。
Huh? You mean she doesn't know? But I thought Tsukuyomi-san would have... No, wait. I guess if Her Highness had been briefed on the members of Meia's squad, she would have known about me already, but she's given no indication of that being the case. Was not telling her an intentional move on Tsukuyomi-san's part? Did she just not see a reason to, considering there was almost zero likelihood of anything like this ever happening? Well, you already know about Meia, obviously, but we've also got the daughters of UN Undersecretary Tamase, ex-IJA General Ayamine, and even Chief Yoroi.
なんという。まさにこたびの件にただならぬ因縁を持つ者ばかり。
You'd have to be pretty in the know to be aware of that, but I guess it makes sense. She was in the Imperial Palace until just recently. They probably briefed her on all of this. Guess she just didn't connect the dots as to how our squad tied into it.
驚きました。まさか、鎧の娘までも。
That's not all though. We've also got the daughter of the late Prime Minister Sakaki. That's genuine shock on her face. Guess she really hasn't been told anything about our squad. So yeah, since everyone's here tied to this debacle in one way or another, it's been kinda like walking on eggshells around each other.
それは無理からぬことでしょう。
And yet the squad's still functioning normally. I think that's got less to do with our military training and more to do with this deep-seated sense of patriotism they all have. Was this really a good idea? I don't know about Tama or Ayamine's dads, but Her Highness definitely knows Chief Yoroi and Prime Minister Sakaki. It can't be easy to know their daughters are out there fighting to protect her.
そうでしたか。
Maybe I shouldn't have brought up Class Rep's dad after all. What was that even going to accomplish other than giving this exhausted woman yet another thing to worry about?
白金、そなたに頼みがあります。
Huh? Okay, what is it?
皆をここへ集めてください。
Huh? Everyone?
そうです。国連軍、アメリカ軍、近衛軍、すべてのものです。
Why does she want to rally the troops? She isn't planning to apologize to everyone, is she? Your Highness, I know we're on a break, but it might be tricky to gather everyone here. I mean, as a cadet, I don't even have the authority to...
アメリカ軍の指揮官に私の命令だとお伝えなさい。良いですね。
Yeah, I can relay the message, but
時間がありません。急ぐがよい。
understood. I'll get going then.